All right. Good morning. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Today being the 22nd day of June 2026, it's actually 3 minutes past 7. Karibu join us to the show. My name is Victor Olo. All right. So before we get to the discussion, allow me to take you through the front pages of our local dailies pretty fast. Starting with the front page of the Star newspaper. The Star says that missing pension billions push workers into financial mess. Missing pension billions push workers into financial mess. The outstanding contribution hit 67.9 billion shillings as of March 2026. Outstanding contributions hit 67.9 billion shillings. That's as of March 2026. The story continues on the inner pages. That is on page 4 and page 5. That is there. The Star also reports that there is an unseen hand of DP Kindiki in Olkalau MP by-election. The story of DP Kindiki's hand in Olkalau by-election slated for next month, which many people say that is going to be highly contested. That is what is here. The story that's on the front page talks about the missing pension billions push Kenyan workers into financial hardship. It's not so good. One Margaret Jakango, who is the controller of budget, says that accounting officers should ensure that timely payment of statutory deductions, as failure to do so is likely to affect staff welfare and morale. That is what is here. Perhaps it's not one of those things that a retiree would want to go through. You'd want to retire and have your, retirement package well set for you, and you go home and enjoy your retirement. Okay, that is here. There is a little bit of an illustration here with the Star. The Star says that unremitted statutory deductions in numbers, the unpaid pension contributions stands at 67.9 billion shillings. Health schemes at 39.64 billion shillings. Pay 26 billion shillings. Debt ceiling breach stands at 1.95 trillion shillings. And 9.22 billion shillings on SACCO deductions. And finally, 40 billion shillings on personal emoluments arrears. And finally, who owes the most? The pension arrears by sector. Okay? Public universities, the largest defaulters. Public universities stand at 31.4 billion shillings. County governments, 24.4 billion shillings. Health sector, 2 billion shillings. Agricultural institutions, 1.6 billion shillings. 92% of public sector share unremitted deductions, and finally 8% private sector share unremitted deductions. So these are some of the figures about the savings and what it's all about when it comes to retirement packages. Okay, on the front page of the Daily Nation, police bosses power struggle. Police bosses power struggle. That is what I have here. Police bosses power struggle. It's a protracted power struggle between civilian commissioners at the National Police Service Commission and police chiefs has stalled crucial human resource functions, including promotions, reportedly undermining morale in the rank and file of the National Police Service. The paralysis has now attracted the attention of higher authorities amid concerns that it could actually disrupt security operations and preparations ahead of next year's general election. So who are the two gentlemen on the front page? For the record, there you go. The two gentlemen on the front page is Police IG Douglas Kanja and National Police Service Commission Chairperson Dr. Amani Yuda Komora. All right. Okay, 2 killed in Gikomba fire. When will this madness stop? That is the front page of the Daily Nation. A good question, yes, for sure. When will this madness stop? For the 18th time, The sprawling Gikomba market burnt again under mysterious circumstances on Sunday morning, causing the deaths of 2 and injuries to several other people, and actually property worth millions actually were also destroyed in the process. Allow me to let me just tuck this on. Daniel, front page of the Standard. Good morning. You're well? Good morning. Karibu sana. Oh yes, Daniel Juma Mondi is the African representative for Global Peace Foundation. He's here. Wakili Gibson Gesori is also joining us. Getting ready. If you know that that meme. All right. On the front page of the Standard, in 6 months. That is on the front page of the Standard. In 6 months. All right. So the Standard reports a couple of development projects that the president had promised in the past, and totaling to around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. According to the Standard, they have also reported 7 of them based on what the president said in the past. In 6 months, that is what is here on the front page. You can take a look at that in 6 months for the record. Okay, so you can take a look at some of the promises that the president had said in the past. Okay, let me bring my guest in studio. Daniel Juma Mondi, as I earlier said, he is the gentleman responsible for representing Africa Peace Foundation. Good morning, Daniel.
Good morning.
Good to see you as well.
Good to see you.
Karibu sana.
It's a beautiful morning.
Then it's been quite a run. We are here, but allow me to ask you, what do you make of the finance bill? We are here with another bill. This week is going to be a very crucial one for Parliament, of course. Parliamentarians are going to be having a lot of that. But once that is done, there are a couple of complaints from people saying that the number of MPs who actually did not vote, who are not even in Parliament on that day, absconded, was so many as opposed to those who were in Parliament and voted for the bill.
Yes, Victor, it's very sad that MPs, majority of them chose to abscond at the time when Kenyans needed them most. It is their responsibility to vote for the finance bill and, of course, to be in Parliament. That is the single most reason why we have hired these members of Parliament. And so it came to me as a surprise that a majority of them were not there, especially at this crucial time, remembering that this finance bill is so, it's so crucial to governance. And of course, government has to pass finance bill every other year. So these members of Parliament ought to have demonstrated, solidarity with the Kenyan people, and also they are the ones who also have a responsibility to explain to the Kenyan people what is actually in the finance bill, what is going to be different from right now. And so I feel it was not quite good that they chose, to keep away from Parliament. But that said and done, mine is to ask Kenyans, mine as a peace builder, is to ask Kenyans to basically, and I know right now this week they're talking about the commemoration of the June 25th. Our constitution allows for freedom of you have the freedom of protest. And government has a responsibility to ensure civil liberty. What I want to urge is that we have, as much as we have this civil liberty, let us do it peacefully, because I have seen in the past, and I've passed through every time I live in the Kitengela area of the region, and the protests, whenever they are called, you find we have goons taking advantage and lighting fires on the road, and basically preventing normal wananchi from going about their duties. So as much as the opposition may say that the protests are going to be peaceful, they need to actually take a look at some of these hotspot areas and see that whenever these protests are called, there must be for a good reason. But sometimes it leads to disruption of life, disruption of businesses. We have businesses that actually lose a lot of money whenever this happens, because you find many business people are afraid to open their shops. You know, in Kitengela, there's a lot of looting that happens, and so goons take advantage to do this. So, as much as this is the right of Kenyans, mine as a peace organization is to urge, you know, Kenyan people, especially our young people, let us learn how to protest peacefully, how to, you know, walk, you know, with placards and present petitions to whichever authority that you may want to. But this habit of causing violence, of looting shops, and of preventing other people from going about their business, this is something that we must say no to as a responsible and civilized society. Yeah,
I think that's the best. That's a good way to start, because 25th will be on Thursday. Remember what the president said, and the Interior Ministry said that that is true. If you go outside there and start looting, then you're not a protester. You are not a protester. I mean, that's as simple as that. Okay, Wakili, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Victor.
Wakili Gibson Gesori is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya.
Thank you.
It's
so
good
much.
to categorize. You could be an advocate of so many things.
Then we say we're advocate of the High Court.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that I can't go to the Supreme Court.
Okay. You are an advocate of Kenya.
Yes.
Oh, how is it? Okay, that's true. Karibu sana.
Yes, asante sana.
So we are here for the past 1 or 2 weeks since we last met here, close to a month ago. What has really stood out for you? Key highlights?
A lot of things, Victor. I mean, just to start with is the preparation process of the budget. And, that is, I think, one of the key highlights, whereby there has been a bit of a slow pace in which Kenyans are receiving this particular bill.
Yes.
As opposed to the previous one, the 2024 one, and even the 2025 one. The reason as to why this is the case is also a question I'm asking, because you see, that bill decides the operation of government for the next 1 year, at least so, because even in most incidences we do find that there are situations that they walk outside that particular act when it's even put in place. We need to, as a people, decide how best can we be able to handle this business, especially after the 2024 demonstrations, which really brought the country almost to its knees, and even our system of governance was severely destabilized. Yeah. So, as a people, I think our members of parliament, let me say that I'm a bit disappointed with the numbers which were in parliament when passing a very critical instrument which is going to decide the governance of the country. And if any member of parliament was missing for whatever excuse, I've seen some say that they were abroad. Why will you be abroad on such a critical moment? Right. Unless you are sick. So we need to hold them accountable and then be able to ask them critical questions. Because remember, time when the June 25th was happening, they were actually in parliament trying to pass the bill. It's true. Trying to hurry it through. As opposed to even considering the concerns of the people who are outside, who really needed, and it reminds me of the situation which happened with the French Revolution. The French Revolution, much as the people were demonstrating, and they had been demonstrating for quite a while, deep inside the palace in Versailles, people were partying. And part of the reason people are demonstrating is that there's too many parties which are costing a lot, and yet we don't have anything to eat. So that reminds me of that particular situation. Even the Queen was asking, why are they demonstrating? And then she was told, you know, these people are saying they don't have bread. She was wondering, why don't they eat cake then? You know, that is the situation in which I find our members of parliament in, that they're acting disconcerted about the challenges which are facing our people. Yeah. They go to parliament when they are supposed to be there legislating and asking critical questions, which we are asking, because they should be the people's representative. They drop the ball. Yeah. Once they drop the ball, then a problem happens, and then they start acting or behaving as if they were not part of the problem. If we start holding them accountable, then that in itself will have solved a very critical problem in our governance structures. So that was important. Secondly is the G7. Secondly is the G7, where our president
which
was
ended last week on Wednesday.
attended in France, and I really have to say I have to admire the camaraderie
Yes, camaraderie.
between him between him and the French president, who was also here like I think a month or two back. They seem to have developed a bond. But what is missing for me is seeing the economic or the economic dividends of this particular friendship boiling down to the Kenyan people. I've not seen anything France has invested in this country in a very big way. None, even the meetings, after even meeting
Are
the
you
most
sure there's nothing there?
I've not seen a dam, I've not seen a road. The road at least which they were given the Mau Summit one.
Yeah.
They never did anything for a year or so. Until now we had to pay them to cancel the contract for them not acting. You see, that is not that's not a business which you can say we have gained. So, you know, we can be able to point some few things for some for I mean, for the Chinese, you can actually say what they have done.
Okay.
For the Americans, I mean, you know what they major in.
Yes.
But for the French, I really don't know what they major in. So, this particular friendship, I don't know the basis. I hope with the time maybe I will be able to see, or whatever they were able to discuss could come to fruition in the near future. But as of now, I'm always very skeptical when I see France, given the way it deals with the West African countries and their history even of colonialism. So that is not a friend. They have actually been kicked out of the West countries, where the Francophone countries, as they are saying. That's why it was very impossible for them to hold even the summit there. They had to coin it in a different name and bring it to Nairobi. So some of these things, we should be able to look at them critically and see what is it are we gaining from these particular processes.
Great. It's a good wrap of what has been your key highlight. Okay, gentlemen, let's come back. The big elephant in the room right now is, based on our topic, is the 2027, the Jigsaw puzzle that many politicians and all of us are trying to fix. And to see fixing and just fixing that jigsaw puzzle is never that easy. That is where we have got shifting loyalties, complex, coalition formations. We have got regional succession politics here and there, the kingpinship, and here, who is going to be this, who is going to be that. It's almost the same script every electoral cycle, Daniel. It's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
But for us right now as a nation, what is the biggest jigsaw puzzle that we are trying to fix ahead of 2027? Actually, do you know elections, 2027 is there with us already. The month of June is gone.
Yes, 2027 is already here, Victor, and just like you have said, and looking at the headline of the Standard newspaper, elections is just, during elections is an opportunity for politicians to again give us a new wave of promises.
Yes, there's scope.
Some of these promises are basically never really fulfilled. And for me, I'm not surprised, like with the Standard, headline, because that is politics for you. Politicians, I compare politicians to a man out to court.
Yes.
To court a woman for marriage. And at that time, the man promises a lot of good things. I'll buy you this, I'll build you that, I'll make you the best husband that you have never had. But when it comes to the reality of marriage, then some of those things, if not most of those things, are never met. So for me, I'm not surprised by that headline. While I want to, of course, in comparison, compare, the regime of the current president with the regime of the previous president, I must say, Victor, give it to the president, that he has, compared to the previous regimes, at least he has been able to do, stuff that we're seeing, with the taxpayers' money. And just to mention, but a few, the infrastructure. And right now, I just see today, we have already, National Infrastructure Fund.
Yes.
The board has already been, I can see it has already been advertised. There is, you can see significant effort that at least the president is trying. He's trying to do things, But previous administrations, of course, we have seen, a lot of money being borrowed, a lot of money being spent. But what did we see for it? So we didn't see much. So the president, as much as he has not fulfilled some of the promises that he promised, I think he has done in comparison to the other previous regimes. And so it is up to Kenyans to make a decision, come next year, whether they want to renew his contract or not. But as we right now, of course, the opposition is still not decided on who their running mate is going to be. And so that gives President Ruto, of course, an upper hand, because already we know that he is going to be on the ballot. But from the opposition, we don't know whether it's going to be Rigiji, whether it's going to be Kalonzo, whether it's going to be Sifuna. It is not easy. And if 1 year, almost 1 year to the election, you have not made a decision who is going to be your your presidential candidate, then that disadvantages you, because the messaging has to start early. The branding has to start early. And so I want to, again, and as I say this, I don't want to give Kenyans a lot of hope, especially when politicians campaign. They give a lot of promises, but then do not give yourself a lot of hope, because whoever comes in, it will be business as usual. Whoever comes in, even if the current president one term or what, it's going to be business as usual. That same president who is sworn in will continue looking for ways to raise taxes, continue to get revenue to be able to run the government. They're going to come up with all sorts of manner. And even the finance bill that people are complaining about,
yes,
whoever wins this election will also come up with this finance bill. There is no way they can say, right now they're saying they don't want finance bill, but if they win, they'll also come up with their own finance bill.
Let me just take you back a little bit. You said that opposition are still taking their own time before announcing their candidate. We all know what happened in 2002.
Yeah.
A clear example.
Yes.
A few months to election, and here we are, President, the late Mwai Kibaki, from nowhere, nobody saw that coming. Why the hurry for the opposition to name their candidate?
Just like I've said, running for president is not like running for member of parliament,
yes,
or for senate, or for MCA. This is a whole different ball game. Number one, you need resources. Number two, you need to have your roots throughout the ground.
But you also know that that's a high-stakes position.
It's a very high-stakes position, of course.
Yes.
So it is not an easy. It's not that easy. So you don't want to tell me that you will basically just be named, and then you start now branding yourself. You start, and of course, even as the opposition looks for a single presidential candidate, it is not a guarantee that there will only be two candidates. I don't see any of these opposition leaders who will be satisfied with any choice. If, for example, Kalonzo is named, I can see maybe some people in the Linda group will say, oh, we are not satisfied with that, and they'll go their separate ways. So it is still too early, to even, be sure,
yes,
that there actually is going to be only two.
Okay.
Two horse races.
Two horse races.
Yeah.
Omami, good morning.
Morning to you.
But then Omami has just come out all the way from Western.
Yes, unatoka Budalangi.
Imagine.
Asante.
He's teleported himself to the show. Karibu sana.
Thank you,
Thank you for coming. Watu wa Funyula wako sawa? Budalangi wako fiti?
Funyula wako sawa, Budalangi wako sawa.
Right.
Wameniambia, let me wish you a happy Father's Day.
Perfect.
However belated it might be.
Perfect.
Thank you.
It's a huge responsibility for us, guys. Okay. So let's come back to this. Talk about the political jigsaw. Now that your mic is on, a lot is going to be happening in the next few, I don't want to use, days to come and months to come. And already we are seeing, and you've heard what Daniel has said. There is going to be a lot of shifts. Who is going to have coffee with who is going to have late night meetings with this region talking about the other region. And you've had, even over the weekend, the politicians trying to segregate or actually divide Kenyans according to blocks. This is not new to us. It's the same script, only that probably the actors and the players, almost the same thing happening again.
Yeah, allow me to start with a departure, some slight departure from where my brother Daniel has left it. I think there are legal statements about when somebody is supposed to declare candidature for any position. And that is why we are also legally bound. That if you are serving as a civil servant or a public servant, there is a constitutional legal instrument that guides you on when you are supposed to resign and then declare your candidature for any position.
Yes.
So in this essence, even somebody declaring that they are running for president earlier, I think that is the bad manners we have kept for far too long. What we needed to do in this country is that you show intention, that you intend to vie for a particular seat. Then the official declaration for that seat comes at the right and legal time. So that is the explanation I would like to give it. There's no candidate, even myself. If I decided to run for president, I still have probably 6 months to the general election to make an official declaration for that position. But I ought to have shown interest, probably discussing with my brother Gisore that I intend to run for this position in a near future. So that is a simmering conversation, and when it gets out as official communication, probably 6 months to it, and we are okay. Then we are likely to get shifts because it's a switching season.
Yes.
Probably after December of this year, we will get into politics proper, and we want to see serious shifts. Even candidates who are unable to vote for the finance bill, probably they are still waiting for that persuasion to get into shifts of the right camps they will belong to in a near future. And that is expected definitely in our country because there are political parties that have strengths in particular areas.
Right.
And if you belong to such area or you intend to vie for a political seat in that area, then definitely you have to align yourself right at that particular time.
Okay.
Whether it will be 6 months or 8 months to election, we still have that time to switch.
Let's take a break. That was just a warm-up. The real discussion starts after this break. Stay with us. All right, thank you very much for staying with us. Now, let's come back to it. Wakili, so the thing is here. Allow me to ask you this open question. What are you foreseeing? Friends becoming enemies again? Enemies becoming friends once again? Tell me, you've been here before.
I mean, I think it goes without saying, Victor. Around electioneering time, you will see a lot of realignment happening, and that informs the kind of numbers we saw in Parliament in terms of voting for the budget bill. Some people do not want to send the wrong signal. They are trying to be politically preservative so that they can be able to pick whichever side they want to pick. We have seen a lot of, especially the members from the mountain, who are aligned to the government, not being able to go to their home constituencies to campaign because they know once they get there, things are going to be very bad. So it's something which we have to wait and see. It's a rolling ball, which you don't know where it's going to stop. But between now and the election time, we are going to see a lot of gerrymandering. We are going to see a lot of shifting in alliances. We are going to see a lot of betrayals as it why we consider them, and these people will be coming and saying, I never left, I was here.
Yeah.
I was here, this one has been my friend. It's only that politics separated us, now we have come together, and that will be on vehicle rooftops, and people will be clapping. Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, but as Kenyans, we have been taken for a ride for far too long, and I think I like a quote by a friend of mine who said that politicians campaign in poetry, but then they implement in prose. You know, prose is so prose is so tiring, and reading it, you wonder, should I read all these statements? They start now giving very long statements. You see government, you see a budget, you see this thing. But when they are campaigning, you know how poetry is very sweet to the heart and soul. So we need to be very careful as Kenyans not to buy into the poetry, which is going to get us to the prose. Instead, we should be able to ask somebody concretely, what exactly are you going to do for us? And then be able to hold them accountable, especially those ones who are not able to even attend the budget reading process. They should not be considered as any serious politicians.
Okay. Allow me to ask this question to all of you. So we've seen several factions. We have Linda Mwananchi, Linda Ground, exactly. We also have the other side of the united opposition. Then we also have this other side of the ruling coalition now. These are like 4 factions currently active. And you are going to see, if not 2 horse race, 3 horse race, or whichever it's going to be. Daniel, how are these formations going to form or complicate or lessen the work leading to the next election?
Yeah, so these coalitions, as you know, as you rightfully said, we have Linda Mwananchi, that is the newest kid on the block, and attracting various people there. Then we have, of course, it's not called Linda Ground anymore. We have the ODM. The chairperson, Gladys Wanga, said they're no longer going to call themselves Linda Ground. Right?
You see, that's what I was talking about. Today, you get something, you sell it for a short time, shelf life, and then you give it another name.
So we have ODM, but then this ODM is basically part of the broad-based arrangement with the president, and then we have the united opposition. So these are the formations. You know, I can say these are the 3 formations. Right now, we have 3 formations. We have the broad-based arrangement, which is ODM plus UDA. We have the Linda Mwananchi, and we have the united opposition.
Yes.
So we have now 3 main factions. Yeah, so as we go to the elections, I think we're going to expect a lot of movements from these. But unfortunately for Linda Mwananchi, and you see Sifuna has been kind of the flag kind of bearer. You know, Mimi Ndio Sifuna has been the engine of Linda, of Linda Mwananchi.
Yes. It's called messaging.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you can see from the newspaper, you can see Sifuna is still fighting to be the Secretary General of ODM. This is very confusing because in the Linda movement, we have the youth and the Gen Zs who have made it very, very clear that they want Sifuna to be on the ballot. You know, but Sifuna himself, as you see, a few months ago, he was apologizing to Gachagua, saying that to Samehane, let's forgive each other and let's see, see how we can work together. And so that mixed signaling is not healthy for him and for the Linda movement. And also, you have seen the Linda movement. My governor, Orengo, is also thinking that he can reinvent his political life. The way he is talking is like he wants to run for president.
What do you mean he can reinvent? Orengo has been in politics since 1980.
Of course, you know, he's been in politics since 1980, and you know...
After the election of the death of Odiek?
Yes, but then, as you know, there was a time when Orengo tried running for president under the SDP, and he got less than 30,000 votes. You know, that is the time when he left the Raila,
that was in 2007.
Yes, and he only was able to resuscitate his political life when he came back and joined with Raila Odinga. But right now, again, of course, Raila is not in the picture. But time will tell whether he can actually defy the main ODM movement and basically make a mark in our political scene. So we are still watching, but what I can tell you is that many people on the ground, would like the current politicians, especially governors, governors who are running around, and not doing enough to actually, bring development, actually serve their people right now. Governors who are running around and neglecting the reason they were elected in the first place will have a very, very difficult time convincing Kenyans that if given another responsibility, they'll actually do a better job. I come from Siaya, and I can tell you that in terms of devolution, there's still nothing much to smile about, in the village. And so this is
Mommy, you are his neighbor.
yeah. So this is the reality. This is the reality of our politics. And so as time goes by, of course, we're going to see alignments and realignments. Yeah. But if I were Linda Mwananchi by today, I would have made a decision. I would have identified the political vehicle and start popularizing, their candidature as we go towards
I think that there is no problem, Gibson. There's no problem because whatever they're doing is working for them. It's quite right now, it's a little bit opaque. But they can say that it's resonating so well with the Mwananchi they are representing. I will ask you the same question I asked, the open one. Having in mind that now ODM is now moving from the Linda ground and they're packaging themselves as ODM, what do you think is in the mind of ODM to move from the Linda ground? And this one comes immediately after the case about Sifuna also met a little bit upheaval. There is a lot happening in between.
There's a lot happening, but you see, for them to actually realize that they need to change, come back to ODM, is realizing that they are trying to create a smaller animal while they have an elephant. So they want to go back and start repainting the elephant. That becomes way easier for them. That becomes way easier politically, that is. It becomes way easier for them to market the elephant, as opposed to starting to create a small calf, like the proverbial Israel, which did a calf to annoy God. So they don't want to annoy God with the people who are going to elect them, essentially. So basically, they have realized that if they continue with this slogan, they are taking the smaller piece of the pie as opposed to maintaining the whole thing as a whole, which can be able to drive them to the political canon which they need. I think it's a political realization that they are going it the wrong way. They need to go back to the old good ways, which they can then be blessed and then be able to get to where they want. As of that incident, the person they have not clearly identified is their Joshua, who is going to take them there. So essentially, they have because their Moses is already gone, so they need they need really another one. Once they can be able to agree, then they can be able to sort their problems. This is expected in politics. I mean, if we can go back to the Ford, once Ford disintegrated, once the leader, the late Jaramogi died, Ford had quite a number of members of parliament. When it came to election time, post-election, they had around 30 members of parliament from one of the biggest political parties. So it's important for the factions in ODM to actually realize this, that they are facing a political situation where they're going to not exist in the near future, politically at least. It's important that they realize this and then they put their house in order. This putting their house in order has started with them realizing, wait a minute, these particular brands we are creating are going to subdivide us even more. Let us rebrand to the old house and then we can be able to, what people know. You know, ODM has been a party other than KANU, which has been widely known in the political history of Kenya. And you know, it had this sense or structure of people-based. When ODM leadership could speak, it could speak as if the people have spoken.
Yeah.
So abandoning that and now starting to segment it was becoming a political problem for them. So it's important that they retrace their roots, but then also they need to be wary that, there are political hyenas waiting for them to eat them up. So it's important that they be very careful to ensure that their house, they're running a tight ship.
Yes.
Or their political house is as tight as they can be able to shape it, so that they can be able to sail through the tsunami, political tsunami that is the Kenyan front, which they can not afford to go with the confusion they are trying to demonstrate. So it's important that they rid themselves of the confusion, they rid themselves of the problems within, and then be able to have a clear strategy going forward. If they cannot be able to do that, unfortunately, political death will come.
Okay. Obomi, I mean, it's, the puzzle is highly fluid and predictable.
Let me start by correcting something my brother Daniel spoke to. And as you said, I'm actually a neighbor to Siaya. And Siaya is glittering at the moment. The only serious conversation Siaya needs to have is on the economic stimulus projects. What can fetch money for Siaya? But look at today, the Siaya Hospital, the Siaya Referral Hospital, the Ukwala Hospital, they are getting referrals from the neighboring counties where, for instance, Busia is exporting patients to Siaya. And that's as a result of devolution. So it will be improper to say that Siaya has not worked. They also have a very nice stadium and that was not built by the national government. As a good neighbor, that is what I've observed.
But if you have a nuclear plant.
But if you had a conversation about the economic stimulus projects, for instance, reviving what was Dominion and what it would do to the place today, I think that will help. But then coming back to the conversation of the Lindas, the Linda ground realized there was no ground to Linda. So they had to...
What do you mean? It worked for them for some time.
Yeah, it was convenient, and it was a short-term convenience. Because there is something that has vindicated Sifuna, that he has kept consistency. And that consistency is a very important, it's a very integral thing in the political landscape. So the Linda ground were inconsistent in their conversations. They were expecting to get some pieces of meat from somebody else, so they had to praise or to show that there's something happening so that these pieces of meat can keep coming. And definitely that did not work. So they have come to a realization that to work well, you need ODM. And when you hear Sifuna consistently say, I'm still the Secretary General of ODM, because he has never denounced that position. He only emphasizes that ODM was empathetically lindering maslahi ya mwananchi.
Yes.
And Baba in the last election in 2022 did not vie on ODM. He was an Azimio member. What if Linda Mwananchi camouflages into the Azimio that Baba ran with? What becomes of ODM? It remains a member of the Azimio coalition party, where the flag bearer might be Sifuna, with another running mate like Alonzo Musyoka, if we want to pull the Obama-Biden card, or Matiang'i, or any other person.
Yeah.
Because the Azimio coalition party was a conglomeration of all these parties together. And ODM can still stay a member of that. Now, one mistake that the Linda ground was making is that they were extremely submissive. They gave in to demands that were not there. Instead of preparing to run...
To who? Who were they?
Definitely, they were appeasing the president. They wanted to work with the broad base.
Call a spade a spade.
Yes, they were appeasing the president. So they didn't come to think of it. What if the president will not run in 2027? How do they get organized? Because this is a matter of life. You don't want to start predicting the future of somebody's, whether they are going to be alive or dead. We had Baba here, and all of us were optimistic he might run in 2027 as well. But life took him. So what if we don't want to wish that to the president, or what if an eventuality happened in in the country and something bad happened, and we lose a candidate that you thought would be running for that seat, how do you get reorganized? So as a party, you must always get organized to take power by yourself and not being submissive to support somebody else.
Okay. Let's talk about this way. When you look at the jigsaw puzzle, you'll have to take this region, fix with this, and this one, and the other one, and you have got numbers. Right now, you're seeing a lot of focus in Ingoland. Umwami, true or false?
Yes, true.
There is a lot of focus in the Luya land. And look at it this way. You're taking Luya this side, that's the Luya nation, and there's another fertile ground, the Mount Kenya region. Now, compare this. Why the jigsaw becoming a little bit wider when it comes to Mount Kenya? We have got the ODM perennial support base, of which chances are the other side of the Linda Mwananchi and the other side led by Dr. Buru Dinga are all fighting for to retain their support base and superiority. Let's talk about the jigsaw coming from the western side of Kenya, these other regions, and who is going to fix this? Pretty fine. And there is one person who is going to be the flag bearer, the president. He knows that he's going to be in the ballot. All these other people, hawajui.
Yeah.
Daniel.
So let me just say, okay, the jigsaw puzzle, basically, if you look at Western,
yes,
for example, Western is definitely going, the president is going to take, if not, let me say half of the Western vote. But if Sifuna runs, if Sifuna is the presidential candidate, like he alludes, then chances are that Western will vote, wholeheartedly for the opposition. But that is if Sifuna runs. The question is Sifuna going to run? That is a question that...
what if he doesn't run and support someone else?
If he doesn't run and support someone else, and let's say a running mate, then I can tell you for a fact that Western it's going to be divided into half. President Ruto is definitely going to take half of the votes in Western province. That also applies to Mount Kenya. Right now, even though right now people are talking like Mount Kenya is gone, but you can see that almost 7 of the cabinet secretaries in this kind of administration are from Mount Kenya. You get my point? So then the question is Rigiji going to be able to ensure that the whole of Mount Kenya votes against the president? But I can tell you, given with even what the deputy president is trying to do, and let's look at Olkalau.
Okay, you talked of half of Western Kenya.
Yes, half of Western Kenya,
half of Kenya. Half of Western Kenya, we have got 5 counties.
Yes.
Okay. That is Busia, Kakamega, Vihiga, Bungoma, and Trans Nzoia. Cumulatively.
Yes.
Right now, Busia is headed by yours truly, Otuoma. That's ODM, right?
Yeah, that's ODM.
Kakamega?
ODM.
That is Governor Baraza. Vihiga, Otichilo, outgoing.
Yes.
That is ODM. It's only Bungoma who is headed by Lusaka, the other side. And Trans Nzoia also the other side.
Yeah.
So how is it going to be half?
I'm just giving an approximate figure that, because Bungoma, as you know, Bungoma always has a high turnout. And also...
It's actually also a swing vote.
Yes. And also Trans Nzoia, those basically, so Bungoma is most likely, even if there is a big problem, most likely Bungoma is going to stand with the president. But if the broad-based coalition continues, to thrive, then you have Busia, you have Kakamega, and you have Vihiga. Of course, the prime cabinet secretary, that he comes from Vihiga. He's definitely going to ensure that Vihiga also supports the president. Of course, we know that the gentleman, the senator of Vihiga, is also trying to do his best. But that is the way I see it. But come to Luo Nyanza, and I'm talking as someone who is, I've been in politics in that area. The Luo nation has basically decided, the Luo nation decided a long time ago, especially after Baba died, that this time round, they want to stick with President Ruto. And you have seen President Ruto has made efforts to actually bring a lot of goodies for the Luo nation. So as it is right now, unless, and I can see Linda Mwananchi, there's a reason why Orengo is really trying his best in the Linda group, is to try and get the Luo. And what Sifuna is saying, that Luo Nyanza is one. No, Luo Nyanza is not one term. Luo Nyanza is basically 2 term. But there is an effort by the Linda group, led by Orengo, to ensure that Luo Nyanza basically votes 1 term. But then the question that they're asking, and the question we're asking, if you're talking about, if you're saying President Ruto is not that good, but look at where Sifuna and the other group, they want to take the people. For example, you have Matiang'i.
Yes.
Matiang'i was the CS, in charge of security in the Uhuru administration. When we had people dying in River Yala, when we have a lot of these things happening, you talk about economy. Most of these people that are in the united opposition, why in government? So this is the question that the people are asking. So you want to take us there, for what? For what? And when people see what President Ruto is doing or is trying to do, they think that this is a lesser what? I don't want to say a lesser evil, but they think it's better. They're saying better the angel you know.
There is no lesser angel.
Yes, go to the devil.
We've never heard of a lesser angel. Okay. You can take a break. Yes. Gibson.
I think politically, the Western region, let me speak of the Western region, because the Central region makes a decision at the tail end on where to go. The Western region is a mixed bag of beans. But I would want to say that the president seems to be having an upper hand in the Western region vote. The Luo Nyanza vote, as it's been said, is largely going to the president. So the whole of Western region, that is the region past Nakuru, that side, the president has a better say than any other politician can claim. I've not seen Kalonzo launch a campaign in Bungoma and have a crowd. And I don't think he's about to do that, or even if he did, I don't know whether he will be able to attract less with the united opposition. So you can see but if the president does, and you have seen Farouk has always been persistent pacifying the Western region. I think every weekend he has a rally around 10 MPs. That tells you something. And if Farouk is the right-hand man of the president. So wherever he is, that is where the president is. So there is a lot of organizing of the ground in Western in terms of the ruling party as opposed to any other party. ODM, I think like in Kakamega, all the members of parliament who are ODM based, I think have now shifted alliance to the UDA alignment. And that essentially is going to be a very big political statement when that time comes. You can see even the kind of development, the Kakamega level 6 hospital is also coming up nicely. Whatever, if Western were clever, whatever they would be asking right now, they would actually be given. You remember the daughter of the king who was a very good dancer, and the king had to ask, her ask whatever and then I will give you. But unfortunately she didn't know. So that is Western now for the presidency, and that is what they need to actually decide what exactly they need, and then they will be able to get it, because they are that beautiful lady who is good at what she's doing, but then when it comes to what she wants, then she cannot be able to tell. It's important that they can be able to find a political uniting factor, which is very difficult, because my brother indeed comes from the other side, which is on the other side. Sometimes people accuse them to be in Uganda, others are accused to be part of the CIA. So they need to conglomerate and be able to unite towards one political goal. And if they did, then the dynamics will be very different.
A quick break. But Omwami, This beautiful lady, is she in stiletto or what? I don't understand. Or in wedges?
Actually, that is the conversation we've been sold for a very long time.
It's stiletto and some pepper red hot lipstick and all that.
What my brother Gibson, what my brother Gibson is selling is exactly the same conversation the Luhya nation or the Mlembe nation is running away from. Because for far too long, we've been sold that conversation that it is not workable to become number one. We have to work under somebody else. But the region is coming to a realization that if you are commanding a second majority in the nation, you can use this population to your advantage and quote others. So unfortunately, the patrons who've been there ahead of us succumbed to the conversations like what Gibson is saying. But now people are coming to this realization. If you have an opportunity to become number one, and you are rightly placed to become number one, why would you want to play number two?
No, but you'll be, in 2032, it will be your turn.
Who guarantees that? What I mean,
you promised.
My brother, there's a reason we go to elections after every 5 years. We elect a new regime. We elect a new number one. So anybody can become a number one after 5 years. Those who are not prepared to be number one in 2027 can pave way for others who are ready, and the conversation goes on.
2032, let's
2032, there's no time for that. We want to be number one in 2027.
Okay.
Show us the man.
Okay.
Show us the man.
the arithmetic.
Show us the man.
We'll be right back. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. So let's do this. The final discussion. We are just trying to land. Allow me to come back to Wakili. So there is this other side of Mount Kenya, which again, when you had, I don't want to quote what Mheshimiwa Sudi talked about over the weekend, but it's clear that the other side of Mount Kenya, which has been for years, electoral cycle has been quoted, and wacha nitumie Kiswahili, ile kura iko Mount Kenya, any politician who would want to get into that political seat must get Mount Kenya. But why is it that right now everybody's running? There is an attempt to drop Mount Kenya for a little bit, but according to me, there is somebody who is strategic enough to grab Mount Kenya at the right time. And who is this person?
I think Mount Kenya is still the president. So I vote for losing because as it stands, as I said, same for the Western region, president seems to be the front runner. You see the Mount Kenya East is still having the deputy president's docket, which the Western members of parliament, as late as a week or two back, they conglomerated somewhere and they anointed one of their spokesmen. And I think I saw one, the spokesman reading from his phone, a statement which had been quoted that if we are not getting the DP position, then we are going with Sifuna. That is a subtle threat. That means that the people from Mount Kenya East are being warned. Shots have been fired. That if you guys are not going to act in a particular way and declare yourself where you stand, then your seat is being gunned for. We have the Luo Nyanza people side of ODM, which is also saying we are not going for the presidency, we are gunning for the deputy president in terms of negotiations. So that is the place where the street sloganeering, people say it's boiling nicely. When it's boiling nicely, it essentially means we have now the contenders. The cards have been drawn. We are waiting to see whose card is going to be picked and what kind of weight it's going to carry. So the long and short of it, from what I can see, the Mount Kenya people have a decision to make. The Mount Kenya West have gone with the Rigathi Gachagua, so to say, but there is Uhuru in the shadows, and we cannot be able to write him off because he's an experienced politician. He comes in with the political conservativeness which has been able to be in the country since time immemorial. So you cannot despise he has been a former president.
Okay.
So that in itself is going to decide how this thing is going to boil out.
So who's going to pick Mount Kenya at the right time?
At the right time, I think the president has an upper hand. It is for the losing. It is for the losing. Okay. Because it will be a choice now for the Mount Kenya people to choose the person they know or somebody they don't.
What will be the messaging to change the narrative?
The messaging for Mount Kenya would be simple. You have had this seat. It's either you want it back or you want it gone forever. So you have to choose between that. You want back or you want to lose it forever. So that's a choice they will have to make. And wanting it back will be being close to power. And they will have to make that decision.
Just like that, without any goodie?
It's that simple. It's that simple. Whether they maintain the status quo by voting the way they voted last time or decide to go their political way and then be in the cold forever.
Daniel, what do you think? Because, okay, ODM is thinking that they have a chance to produce a running mate. Western Kenya also think that, no, 2032 they have said they're supporting president until 2032, and yes, they say they have got men and women who can also take on President William Ruto in 2027. It must be one of the hardest puzzle to fix.
I know, but ODM, I don't think that they will be able to produce a running mate now, because right now, as you know, the party leader, Oburu Odinga, had already indicated that he's going to run for Senate, and he's the one that is driving that party. But with Gladys Wanga, there were, of course, allusion to the fact that she may be. I don't think it's going to be. It's not going to be. The Luos will not front Gladys Wanga to be running mate Ruto. I think as it is today, the Luo nation are comfortable with being in two-term without the running mate. All they want the roads done for them. They want the goodies that the president is bringing, and I think because we have been there, we have this issue of running mate. We have seen with the running mate position. Looking at what happened to Gachagua,
that's what they call power without responsibility.
Exactly. We have already seen that you can be a running mate and then you can be impeached tomorrow. You understand? So to us, I don't think that is something that we want. We just want, let us have the roads done, let us have the youth employed, let us have the hospitals built. And this time, I think the Luo nation is strategizing for 2032. But for now, I think we are comfortable with Kithure Kindiki being the running mate, and we wait tupangwe,
That has brought something else that I didn't see coming. Okay.
I think this is the worst place or the worst position for the Luo nation to be in. Because with such statements, my brother, Baba must be rolling in his grave. Because he knows his father intended to provide a solution to the Kenyan problem.
Yeah.
He has also made an attempt. And he was not growing cowards, as Sifuna said. Now, what I want to think about the jigsaw that we are discussing is that there is a very important constituency that is going to determine how the election goes next year. And that constituency is that constituency of the youth.
Yeah.
They have two phases of their life that they need to correct or improve. If we had over 8 million voters who did not turn out to vote in the last election, and a majority of them were youths, then we have seen during the registration this time round, they have had a movement of the Nico Kadi that has seen them register in large numbers. So the important part of that is that how are they going to mobilize themselves to turn out in large numbers to correct a mess they made in the last election by not voting and to use the numbers they have to determine a future they want to live in. I think that is the most important constituency.
Yeah.
And if it fronts a candidate, they decide their candidate is Sifuna, or they decide their candidate is Maraga or Matiang'i, I think that will be a very important candidate to coalesce around.
Okay. Gentlemen, allow me to finish that point. I wanted to cross over. Hey, Daniel, you've raised something. So, based on that, being comfortable, there's a quote by a gentleman called Neil Donald Walsh. He said, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Whatever you're going to do with that information is totally up to you. Okay, let's be comfortable while just saying that the show is over. Asante Sana, the three wise men. So we're taking a break and we cross over to Kisumu where Okech, that is Wycliffe Okech, will be talking about the plight of widows in Kenya, and he'll be handling that matter very well after this break. Thank you so much, Omwami. Asante Sana. He is a lecturer and communications and governance expert as well. I also have Gibson Gesore, an advocate of Kenya High Court. He said he can even go to the Supreme Court. That is okay. Stand guided. And Daniel Omondi, he is the Africa Representative Peace Foundation. All right. Yes, Director?